up, YouTube? I am your mediocre tutorials and reviews, back in here with one more video. Alright guys, you already know what time it is. It's time to get active. Now guys, this will be a little bit different of a video than what I normally do because usually I go over video content, but today I have a question out on my Instagram at Mediocre Tutorials and Reviews. I took a brief look at it, I skimmed over it, and I wanted to bring it up here. It's well worded, long enough question that I think I can make a video out of, and I think it's very relevant what the young brother is talking about. So let's get active. Let's go right in there, all right? What the young scholar says, hey man, I really enjoy your content and how you tell it like it is. Well, thank you, brother. I appreciate that, all right? Your recent video really opened my eyes because of how much it relates to me. I do daily videos. I don't know what recent video you're talking about, but cool, all right? Long story short, I was with someone for 2 years, was in love and everything, or at least I thought. But anyway, was with her, and one night we had a conversation about money. And I remember when I made her upset because I told her I'd rather be with someone who loves me than to be someone that's with me just for the money. See, it's interesting. And the reason I say it's interesting is because, I create content from my views, my opinion, and things that have worked for me throughout my life. And I bring up topics that I think that are very important for you to be considering in y'all relationships, and it turned into a discussion which seems to have a negative outcome, at least in the short term for you right now. But let's go on in the letter. Let's see if we learn anything new. This made her super upset because she felt like you needed both, which is crazy because at the time I didn't make nowhere near the amount of money that she made. And I worked 2 jobs. So I felt like she was above me as far as money is concerned, but with life experiences, I had made more experience and we had a balance. So what this means to me is you were making this much, she was making this much. The conversation of money came up, even though you're working 2 jobs, whatever she does at a single job, she's making a lot more money. But apparently how much you make is an issue. So what this sounds like to me is, although she makes more, she still has a hypergamous way of thinking. She still wants to date across and up. You didn't go over your age here. I'm going to take a guess here and say that you're in your early 20s, late teens, and you're just coming up to this realization. So I think that it's good that you ask these questions in order to see where her mindset was, because outside of all of this, would you say in the beginning that you were absolutely in love, but you have to be able to find these things out in a conversation? Because depending upon your life's goals, if your goals didn't line up to where she saw you in the future, she was going to move elsewhere. That is for sure. However, at the same time, you were working 2 jobs and making less money than her. What are your plans to increase your income, or at least your financial literacy, to put yourself on a plan to increase the amount that's coming in while reducing the amount that's going out? And I say that from the perspective of not even talking about this relationship, but I'm just talking about man to man. What is your plan to do more and to do better? Okay? But let's get back into the note. So one day, at one of my 2 jobs, I worked as a liaison for the juvenile detention center. I decided to leave because of how I was being verbally and mentally abused. All right? I don't know what liaison means at a juvenile detention center. Are you like a social worker and you're a liaison between the child? Or maybe you're a liaison between the child and the social worker. Maybe that's what you do. Knowing that you're probably doing 30-ish, $35-ish thousand per year if that's the position that I'm thinking about. Okay. So, but you left. All right. So I've been telling my ex that I wanted to leave, and she kept on insisting on me having a job lined up so I can still make the same amount of money instead of making less. Now, let me pause right here. Listen, young man, there's been times in my life where I wanted to leave as well. So at the same time, this is a note that you're sending to me. I would always like to pressure test with young men that I talk to. What do you mean by verbally and mentally abused? You know, because that's very subjective. My definition of being verbally and mentally abused may not be your definition. You understand what I'm saying? But I actually appreciate what she's saying here, because this is something that my pops always told me. Never just leave and walk away without a plan. Never. Never leave and walk away without a strategy. All right? Each stage in your life is the keen opportunity to level up into the next stage in your maturation. You understand what I'm saying? And if you just say F it, and you make a reactionary response to just leave without strategically thinking through the politics of whatever it is that you're going into, then your planning fell short. All right? Your planning fell short. Now, I'm not saying stay at a place that is physically and mentally abusing you. I'm just saying if I was talking to you one-on-one, I'd like to know more of exactly what that was, because there's just some situations that you have to tough it out for the benefit or the betterment of yourself. Not the benefit of her necessarily, but I'm talking to you for the benefit of yourself. If you're able to flip that position that you're at now, or was at that time, into a much bigger and better position later on, all right? Yeah, you got to deal with like a little bit of bullshit, but if there's a light at the end of that tunnel, you might have to put up with a little bit of bullshit for a small period of time. But if there's not, if this is just a position that you feel like you're going to do into perpetuity, it's a different conversation. Anyway, let's get back into it. I told her the benefits of me working at a second job I had, and she wasn't feeling it. All right. Long story short, she broke up with me. This was back in 2019. What makes this story so ironic is that the job I left ended up losing funding, and the job I decided to stay at increased my wages, and I've been working ever since. All right. So you end up leaving that job and you stayed at the other job, and the other job ended up increasing your wages, and you continue to work there. All right. That's good. It seems like it worked out for you in that particular situation, but she left. Here's the thing. If this young lady legitimately broke up with you, and you were legitimately going through physical and emotional stress and or abuse at your place of business, and she didn't walk with you down that path to either help you from an emotional perspective and support you as you were going through that bullshit, or send you links to resources, LinkedIn profiles, Indeed matches and profiles to send to you to look for alternate positions. If the money was it at your young ages, then to me, this is a good thing that happened to you. This is a good thing, all right? But let's keep going. I'm not sure how she feels about anything because I haven't spoken to her since the pandemic, or at least at the start of it. She insisted that she wanted to be with someone who makes $45,000 at least. Meanwhile, people at her job and around the country has lost their job and is unemployed. I just found it to be so ironic, and I wanted to share this story. Crazy thing about this too is that I caught her one day on a couple of dating apps looking for love. LOL, life is crazy, man. Listen, we talk about this all day, that women will quantify you based off of what you actually bring into a table, and will assess that for their long-term relationship viability with you. But you know this now more than ever, and I have known this for decades now. You understand me? And that's the thing, is that we try to let you guys know that there's things that you can do within your life in order to defeat this from ever happening. You understand me? That you can defeat hypergamy, right? By working in on your financial due diligence and acumen, your business savvy, your business toolkit to fortify your mind in a way where you don't have to worry about shit like this happening into the future. However, what this is, it's female nature, all right? Let's go on and finish the note right here. But yeah, any opinion on the situation is welcome. Just wanted to tell you my story and why I connect so much with your content, because women are fucking crazy and they don't see the bigger picture at all. I also relate to what the content creator said in the video about how even though she and her partner may have not made a lot of money, they still rock with each other. And I think that's how it should be. Oh, I know what video that he's talking about now. So I did a video and had a young brother come through and was saying that he knew that he wanted to marry the woman that he was with because she stuck with him even when he was flat jack broke. Even throughout all of that, she put all of that nature aside in order to make him bigger, better, badder, and stronger. It's that inspiration. All right, guys, listen, I'm actually in the editing room floor right now, and I wanted to come back up here and have a quick conversation. Upon further review, when I was rereading the note, what I seem to have picked up is that there's a great degree of red pill rage still within this young man. And I wanted to be able to touch on this, especially for all of you guys out there that are still going through that rage component of understanding a degree of female nature or human nature, whatever it is. Because he says something really key in there, something like all women are fucking crazy. And I read that and I bypassed it in the original note, but I wanted to come back to that right now. My G, let me say it like this. Yeah, women are crazy. Men are crazy too. We're all crazy. This is a crazy goddamn world. And here's the thing is that as men, we let ourselves be vulnerable around women. And when that happens, they have the opportunity to absolutely rip your heart out of your chest. And that's what a lot of people feel. Shit, that's what I felt when I was in my early 20s, when I discovered a terrible side of human nature. Now, I will say that to say that the situation that I went through, as extreme as what it was, is a link down in the description box down below for my red pill rage story and what caused it. It was one of the best things that ever happened to me. And I want to make that abundantly clear. It was one of the best things that happened to me. As I alluded to earlier on in the video, what you are experiencing right now is a great deal of heartache. But what separates the greatest from those that are not so great is your ability to deal with loss, your ability to deal with failure. What I want you to do is to take this failure, this regret that you have of ever meeting this young lady, all of that pain, the tears, dry your eyes, take all that energy and redistribute into finding your why, finding your purpose, finding your meaning in life. Because it's key and it's critical. I don't think that you should be in your young 20s working 2 jobs and not doing $45,000 per year. That means to me that you may not be ready for a relationship. That's what that means to me, young man. So I want you to go on that path to understand more about yourself so you can command more money in, because people will pay you more for the more things that you know, for the more skills that you develop, for the more talented that you are. That's generally how a capitalistic society works. So you're worrying about the money thing right now. And although the place that you left, it just they ended up firing everybody or whatever else that happened. That's okay. That's not a win. You got to understand that. That's not a win, brother. That's not a win. That's just happenstance. Shit, that could have been at the place that you currently work right now. And then what would have happened? There would not have been of a happy ending as what I think you tried to leave that on. Okay? Transmute. It's a key word here, because that's what I did. That's what I did in my early 20s. I transmuted. I left Facebook. I left Instagram. I left all of that shit, all the social media. I started to put down the video games to a degree. There was some balance in my life. But I started to really focus and hone in on, because I wasn't happy where I was. And I wanted a lot more for myself. And a lot more I did achieve. So I'm happy that it happened to me. You'll look back on this in a couple of years and you'll be happy that it happened to you. All right. That's what I'm going to leave this video for right now. New mic setup. Hopefully it sounds okay. I'm still working on adjusting. Guys, let me know, how does it sound? Questions, comments, concerns. You guys already know what to do. Mediocre tutorials and reviews at gmail.com. That's my email, my Patreon. All right. We booming up there. You understand what I'm saying? We are absolutely booming. Feel free to go in the link down in the description box down below, because like conversations like this, we have all the time. All right. Until next time, YouTube.